Hi, this is Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow. Welcome to another edition of Cooking with Janet. In our blogs on the website, expansions.com, I am working with you on attitudes and aptitudes. And you know what? If you have good food within you, if you have good food in your mind, and you outpicture good food for your body, and you're happy, you are going to have a really great attitude, which is going to bring out your aptitude. So this month of April, we are going to be working on foods that are going to make you happy. We want you to sing and be joyful and do everything that you can to increase your health of your physical structure so that you can increase the health of your mental and emotional state so that your life will flow much more smoothly and easily and happily and bring you the dreams, helping to establish them versus I say stop living your excuses, start living your dreams. Well, that's kind of the theme of this month, attitudes and aptitudes. I also want to remind you that good digestion, believe it or not, doesn't begin in the mouth, it begins in the mind. Because what you see is going to trigger what's going to happen in your body. And if you're happy, when you sit down and eat, your digestion system is going to work. You're going to utilize your food. You're going to need less of it. You're going to feel full. You're going to feel satisfied. And like I said, you're going to feel happy. So that's what we want to work on this month. Of course, as always, what we're going to especially focus on it is helping you to be happy in your mind. Start the digestion process in your mind so that what happens in your body reflects that back. So with that said, who isn't happy when they think of a waffle? So today I'm going to show you how to make a really fantastic waffle. And don't be worried if you don't have a waffle maker, because I'm going to tell you what to do if you don't. But to start with, we don't want to start with a prepackaged thing because that we don't know where it's been. For starters, we don't know what's in it. And of course it is, if it's whole grain, it can be the lesser of the evils, especially if it's non-gluten. But I'm going to show you how to do a gluten-free waffle. It's a recipe I've been working on and I'm really happy with where it's come to, so I'm happy to share this with you. What I did is I'm experimenting with different flours, because I've started with a lot of different ways of incorporating my diet, of changing it, and as I've told you before, you can't just really ditch everything all at once. This has been evolving for me over a matter of years. So I don't want you to feel discouraged, or you don't have this or you don't have that, but my main premise is we're not really doing fancy, we're doing healthy, and we're doing whole foods that feed your body, nourish your mind, nourish your emotions, nourish your soul. So these are whole foods. And whole grains, oftentimes people think of whole wheat. Well, wheat is very inflammatory to the body. A lot of people are gluten sensitive, and so I've picked out some grains, or what most people consider grains, to help ease your body's digestive system and make you feel, again, happy, healthy, and whole. The grain I chose today, or what's thought of as a grain, is buckwheat. Now this actually is what whole buckwheat looks like. This is organic, and a lot of times people think it's a grain, but it actually is an herb. It is full of rutin, which helps strengthen your capillaries. So if you're prone to nosebleeds or bruising easily, you want to think about incorporating some buckwheat in your diet. You can eat this a variety of ways. You can cook this whole as a breakfast cereal for yourself, or you can do what I did, which is grind it into flour and use it in my waffle batter. This also, believe it or not, is used to treat radiation poisoning. So if something happens in your life where you feel you either are exposed or been exposed, the buckwheat will actually help to pull it out. So it also has all 8 essential amino acids. It's really a very good food, and people in the Eastern Europe, especially we'll say Russia, may know this as kasha. And it's, if you're a person on a budget, or if from a poor country, this is an extremely nutritious food to help keep your body in alignment. So I also have here, which I've shown you before, my little coffee grinder. This is actually what I bought it for, and I don't know how many years I've had this, but this is a very inexpensive tool. I purchased it for maybe $20. I don't know, maybe let's say they're up to $40 by now. But you can do this for your coffee, for your spices. I use it for the grains. I don't do a ton of grains. If I did a ton of grains, I'd probably look into a grain mill. But as I said, for a kind of an inexpensive little tool to have in your kitchen that's handy for a variety of recipes and a variety of things that you can do, this is a great tool to have. So if you don't have a spice grinder or coffee grinder, you might want to consider adding that. You can also buy the flours. Bob's Red Mill, I think they have a website if you can't find that in your local store. Also, Vitacost.com, you can get a lot of Bob's Red Mill products on there. He does have a lot of organic type grains. I like to do my own just because I guess it's kind of the farmer in me, my agrarian heritage from the Waldensian people, also my Native American. So I do like to kind of see my food from start to finish, and I'd grow every bit of it if I could as well. So I enjoy that particular process. I like to know how long my flour's been sitting around. So like I told you, the green juices, when I make my green juice, I not only make it, I drink it right away. It's kind of the same way with my flours or anything else that I should grind or mill. When I make it, I want to use it. Or if I have a little extra, I'll put it in my freezer to help keep it fresh. So this is the buckwheat groats. And what I'm just going to demonstrate to you how easy it is to turn it into flour. So this is going to go in my little food processor. I call it a food processor. It's actually a spice mill. And I always plug and unplug everything because the kitchen is one of the most dangerous places that there are. So here we go. Okay, and that's really it. We have a really beautiful flour right there. It just takes a few seconds. So this is one of the easier ones. You've seen me do the corn kernels before. It takes a little bit longer. I'm going to dump that in here and set that aside, but I just wanted you to see how easy it is with one of these. Now the other thing that I'm going to talk to you about is almond meal. This is what it looks like. This is some I made myself. Again, you can buy this in the store. The almond meal has a lot less carbs than other flour. If you have a liver issue, you may not want to eat as much of it because nuts are a little bit of a challenge to digest. But, you know, for what you're going to eat, and depends again on what your preferences are, I can take this almond meal and mix it in with my flour. Now this is the flour that I actually am going to put into our waffles today. This is the buckwheat. This is 1 cup of buckwheat flour. It has about 84 carbs in it. This is 1 cup of almond meal. It only has about 24 carbs in it. So I can either do all buckwheat or I can add them together, which will reduce and also lighten my waffle a little bit. But I want to show you again how easy it is to make the almond meal. So I happen to have organic almonds. I'm going to I keep them in my freezer. I buy them in bulk. You can just put a little in here. Check to make sure your spice grinder is plugged in. And again, it's relatively simple. Now the tricky thing with making almond meal is if you do it too much, you're going to wind up with almond butter. So you kind of have to be a little bit mindful of what you do. Okay, again, relatively easy. There you go. You've got some nice almond meal in there. And because I already have it saved or done up from my recipe, I'll be putting these in the freezer for a later use. Again, back to my buckwheat. So I'm going to show you how to put together your own waffle batter. So here's a cup of buckwheat flour, a cup of the almond meal. Now the almond meal is a little bit wet compared to flour. Flour is extremely dry. So when I put it in there, I like to make sure that it's all mixed together. And of course you see me working with my hands all the time. My hands are clean, I've washed them. When you make your own almond meal, you may find a few chunks of almonds in there, so you can either strain it out, pick it out, or leave it in, depending upon what you like. And as I said, it's a very easy recipe. So I'm going to show you what I have here and tell you about how easily you can do it yourself. Now I have in here 2 teaspoons of aluminum-free baking powder. That's going to get added in. I have 1 teaspoon of aluminum-free baking soda, and that's going to get added in. And I'm also going to put in just a pinch of sea salt. So like 1/8 of a teaspoon, not a lot, because remember sea salt is very strong. And just mix your flours together, or your dry ingredients, I guess is probably more accurate at this point. Okay. Then to that, I have in here 1 cup of plain sheep's milk yogurt. Now, if you don't have a sheep's milk yogurt, you can do goat. It's a little stronger flavor. You can do cow dairy, although I try and stay away from it. You can also do, organic sour cream. Or the other cup of liquid that I use is the So Delicious unsweetened coconut milk. Now, I'm going to add another cup. If you don't have The yogurt makes it lighter. That's why I put that in there. You can also do 2 cups of the almond milk. But I found that I like this because it makes it a little bit lighter and fluffier waffle. And I've done it both ways, so either way works. You can also do any milk type substitute that you like. You can do almond milk. You can do regular milk if you like that, buttermilk, goat's milk. Everything's going to flavor it a little bit differently, and you're going to find out what you do and don't like. Okay, to this liquid I'm going to add 2 organic eggs. That's going to go in. And I also have a 1/4 cup of olive oil. That's going to go in. Mix that up a little bit. And that's going into my dry ingredients. So you can see if you want a nice meal for a brunch, a quick snack. It's an easy recipe to put together. You can make this the night before and you can put this in your refrigerator. Now I like things fresh, so what I would normally do is use the amount of, if I'm going to make a waffle or 2 for my family or for myself, I will make 1 or 2 and put the rest in the refrigerator for later use. Or what you can choose to do is make all of your waffles up in advance, and immediately, while your waffles are still fresh, I might let it cool just a little, is to put it in your freezer. And then you can take them out and heat them in a toaster oven, in a regular oven when you want it, on top of the stove with a little bit of butter. But make something that's easy for yourself to do. But like I said, whether you're 1 or 2 people, do this for yourself. It's a fun thing. It's a nice food to have. It's fun to have friends over and have a little brunch. Here's my waffle iron. Don't be afraid of a waffle iron if you've never used it before. They're actually very easy. I have some goat butter here, and this is how I take care of my waffle iron. You might find a way that works better for you. Is I just take, usually if it's frozen, that's better. This I've just taken out of the refrigerator. I just open it up, smear some butter on it, and then depending on how big you want your waffles, I just put 3 or 4 tablespoons of the batter in. Let's go 1 more. Okay, and then you close it up. When the light goes off, your waffle's done, and that just takes a couple of minutes. So we'll let that cook, and then I'll show you how easy it is to take that out. So actually, while that's cooking, I'm going to take you over here because I want to show you something else I did. While I've been experimenting, I told you, I also made some of the batter using wild rice. And wild rice is a little bit higher in carbs, but I was curious to see how that would work up because I figured if it worked with wild rice, it's going to work with brown rice. So I ran the wild rice through my little spice grinder that I showed you. I made flour, and out of that, this is what that batter looks like. Now it's a little bit darker, but if you don't have a waffle iron, you can make pancakes out of the batter. And so I've done that, and I wanted to show you how easy that is as well. And this is actually cow butter because Stewart prefers that to goat butter. And you can do that. And I just run this over the bottom of my pan and get a nice coating of butter in there, so that it gives it some flavor and doesn't stick. But again, this is identical to the mix I just showed you, except I made some wild rice flour instead of the buckwheat. So just put a couple on here. And these are also absolutely delicious. Let's go a couple more. It's fun to experiment. And remember, that's what I told you, not to be hard on yourself if things don't turn out either exactly like the way that I do it, because remember, I'm not real I'm not a real big stickler on detail. I kind of like to let things flow as they're going to flow. So I'm going to leave this on to cook and check my waffles. And I want you to see. Now the light hasn't gone off yet, but you can take it out at any time after a couple of minutes. But look how nice this is coming. Oops, this is stuck up a little bit. But so you can see how nice that this is coming along. And at any point, you can take it up off. So we're going to close that back down. Let that go. And that's why I said I don't get too stressed out if things aren't perfect, and here I am. You see, you have the whole world to see me, and I don't really care. It's what it is, because none of us are perfect. We're here to learn and to grow. So whatever it is, that's what it is. Be happy with it. And as I said, it's all about your attitude and aptitude. You want to activate those. So these are swelling up a little bit. Look over here. I'll just wait for the light to go out, and then we'll pull that up. Let's see what happens. Okay. This one is a little delicate today. That's all right. I'll pull it up. Toss her over. Nobody will be the wiser. So let's go ahead and throw another one in there. Wow. I'm trying to get a little bit more butter on it this time. That will make a difference how it sticks. So we'll find out. And another 3 or 4 scoops of the batter. Those are up. Let's check on our pancakes over here. Okay, those are starting to, you can see, swell up and they'll set a little bit. Depends on how hot you make it. If you have a grill, it's actually better than something round. And I have a big electric grill, but I don't have one that goes on my stove. And when you're done, you can add some maple syrup to it. I have some, these are some of Cindy's blueberries that I get that come in a jar, fresh fruit. And sometimes, as I said, I don't eat a lot of cow dairy, but I do like whipped cream once in a while, so I get some heavy cream and I'll make some whipped cream and put it on as well. And that's, nice not only for you, but if you're having company. You can also freeze your whipped cream once it's whipped and put it in portions. Freeze it on some wax paper, and then after it's frozen, you can put that in some sandwich bags or your glass Pyrex, whatever you like to do. And then you can just take that out as you want it. So remember, don't use the excuse, I'm only one person, I don't want to go all that trouble for myself. You know what, you're worth it. And that's what this is about. Let's have a good attitude about you. Let's like who you are enough to take as good a care of yourself as you do of other people. And I've been through that before myself. Sometimes I think, oh, do I want to drag out the waffle iron or this or that? And I go, yeah, I do, because I'm worth it. And I want you to start recognizing that you're worth it as well. Okay, you can see the edges are starting to brown a little, are starting to get a little puffy. So as soon as it kind of starts to set on the other side, we're going to flip it. So let's see if we're to that point yet. Yep. Okay, I'm going to smear a little bit of butter down there first. This guy's going over. All right. Oops, it's sticking. Gotta be fast. All right, a little bit more butter. Flip this guy. And here we go again. Let's see if I move this one out of the way. Okay, this one ought to be ready. Here we go. A little, oops, no, that one's a little soggy still. I'm going to flip it anyway, bit by bit. That's why, of course, they're called pancakes. They're little cakes you make in a pan. Okay. So, let's see how my waffle light's still on over there. And again, you can make your pancakes in advance, or you can and put them in the freezer. Or bit by bit. Now, if you want to do crepes, you're going to want to have a very thin batter. So you'll want to not put in the sour cream or the sheep's milk yogurt, whatever it is that you're using. You want to leave that out. And you may want to add more of the coconut milk, but still not thin enough for you, so you can run it around your pan. I'm not going to do that with you today, but it's easy to do. Or you can just add more of the liquid to it until it gets a nice thin batter. Kind that you like. I think these are just about done. Let's see the other side. Yep, it's perfect. So that's going to go over here, and my waffle iron just went out, so timing is perfect. This goes here. And these are very substantial. You may only need 1 or 2 depending on your size, because the whole grains and the almonds are extremely filling, so it's not where you're going to sit down and not get filled up. Okay, here we go. Let's see how this one did. It's still a little sticky today, so maybe it's my batter. Or maybe it's the weather. I'll blame it on that. Here we go. Okay. Almost. Okay. There we go. So, I'm going to leave this heating because I'm going to make a couple more, and Stewart and I are going to sit down and have a treat in a minute. I wish you were here to join us. They're going to be delicious. This will be our breakfast brunch. And I hope you have a chance to try it out yourself. And remember, in April, we're going to have a great attitude. We're going to bring out those aptitudes. Sign up for your membership if you haven't done that yet. $8 per month helps expansions.com, so expansions.com helps you. And if everybody does that, we can help to continue to grow the site. Remember, my main goal, once we get through some of these little side things, which cost us money for our web design team, is I want to get that e-learning platform going where you can actually go online, you can study online, you can take tests online, you can learn everything there is to know right online. So that's where I'm headed. I'm telling you now, so get your membership, $8 a month. If you want to ask questions, $23 a month. And you have access to Stewart and I practically 24/7. So those of you who are in certain places sending in questions, can you do this, can you do that? We will do our best to help you when you're on the member side. If you're going to support us, we're going to do our best to support you. If you're not going to support us, you're not going to value us, well, then we're going to question how much do we want to give back. Because this is a two-way street, and you want to remember that. It's not about how much can you get for free from somebody. It's how much can we support each other. We're giving you our energy. We want you and we expect you to give your energy back to us. So do your best. If you don't have any money, I understand that. Then go join the free forums. The information that we have out there for you, even books free in the library, should get you to the point where, yes, you too can afford whatever you want in life. God mind is limitless, and it is up to you to choose which kind of limitless do you want. Do you want to experience the negative limitlessness, or do you want to experience the positive limitlessness? I choose the positive. That's my attitude, that's my aptitude, and hey, that's where I'm going, and I appreciate you when you come along on the journey with me. Thank you very much. I'm Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow at expansions.com. Bye-bye.